So ever since HAZBIN Hotel Season 1 has come to an end earlier this year, I haven't really heard much about it apart from some news here and there, but not too much. So what I wanted to do today is create HAZBIN Hotel OCs based on mood boards I found on Pinterest. I'll be creating 2 characters for now, and I'll be showing you guys my thought process on the final design. So let's just get on with the video. So if you guys could see from the top left corner, that's the first mood board I found on Pinterest. And the thing that caught my eye about it the most is its very pastel witch theme. Now, I love pastels and I do love witch themes, but there's a lot of things going on in here. It would be difficult to incorporate every single thing on the mood board into one character, so I thought just including the most distinct features of that mood board would be a lot more helpful than trying to pile everything up into one character. But still, we have 3 animals to consider. There's those bones. I have no idea what kind of bones they are, but they look like rodent bones. There's also that fox at the middle and that snake at the bottom middle. So for my first design, I thought maybe a fox with the bone mask, kind of like Cubone. It gives very Cubone vibes with cloud-like hair to represent the cloud that comes off from that cauldron, and it's kind of fluffy like that mushroom as well, but I wasn't too convinced. So for my second design, I thought humanizing the character more might help with some inspiration. Perhaps a typical witch would help with the situation, so I kind of drew a typical witch-like figure with a witch-like silhouette, but of course with HAZBIN Hotel's character designs, they're quite exaggerated, so of course I have to accentuate a lot of the shapes and features of this character, and I really did love her. If you guys can't tell, the dress is kind of scaly in a way to represent the snake, and the way she is kind of figured represents that snake at the bottom middle. The only thing is that the mushrooms kind of feel out of place on this character design. Maybe it's the way I've colored it, but it blends way too much onto her character to the point where you can't even tell that she has mushrooms. And for the last draft design, I thought perhaps looking into the fact that the mushroom is just a fruit of the mycelium, perhaps we can create that into some sort of demon monster. So perhaps the mycelium gained sentience and created this fake innocent child looking figure to make people kind of lose their guard, and then when they're closer she'll attack. That kind of character. But personally for me, the middle design is my best design. And before I move on to my final design, I thought I'd draft out a few more refined versions of this design. One of which is more snake-like, kind of similar to, I forgot his name, Serpentulus, I think. He's the only snake character that we saw in HAZBIN Hotel, so I thought maybe using his design might be for the best, so that there's some sort of consistency if this character were to be in the show. I wanted to give her a more villainous look, so perhaps she's a villain of some sort. So I gave her a more snake-like output on her face as well as her body, which is why you could see that she has a snake-like nostril, nose, snout. I added the witch hat because my story for this character, or the lore for this character, is that she passed away during the Salem witch trials. So you guys remember in the Salem witch trials there was a lot of people that got wrongly trialed just because their neighbors wanted a piece of their land or wanted revenge or something like that. But there were some people, I guess, who were actual witches, and that's why she went to hell, because she got burned into the stake, and turns out she is an actual witch. So that's my kind of backstory lore for this character. But I also made a second design of hers, which is basically keeping the dress from the original pre-design, but instead of kind of giving her arms, I thought maybe I won't give her arms. I know I kind of drawn it onto the character's sketch over there, the skeleton sketch, but I removed that afterwards because I thought, snakes don't have arms, so why should she? And instead of arms, she uses her hair to wield her wand, and that really inspired me. I really like that. But I was still quite funny about the colors. So after drafting both of those up, I ended up with that design where she won't have any arms, because to me that made sense. If she's inspired by a snake, then perhaps she shouldn't have arms. And the lore behind this is because, when she got burnt in the stake for being a witch, perhaps instead of having a cat familiar, she has a snake familiar. And that Full Metal Alchemist thing happened where she kind of conjoined with her snake familiar, and boom, when she got in hell, she was snaky. I'm not sure about the whole villain vibe thing yet, so I didn't really incorporate that idea into this design, because to be completely fair, the vibe I got from the mood board didn't really scream villain. It was more like, oh, witches aren't really a Christian thing or the thing that God would like, so therefore she shall go to hell kind of vibe. I don't know, maybe she did something really, really bad when she was alive, therefore her arms were removed, something like that. I'm not really good at creating lore, because whenever I do, there's lots of little loopholes or plot holes, as I say. But in terms of the colouring, I really wanted to follow the ones I saw from the mood board. So having kind of the light pink hair and then having her skin and hat match colours, I think it's a deep burgundy colour, was really, really nice as well. It contrasts really well. And it sort of matches the hell vibes that you see in HAZBIN Hotel quite a lot with the pinks and reds. I didn't want to incorporate too much mushrooms, so I thought perhaps she has moss growing on her. I guess to represent how ancient she is, because, I don't know, moss takes a while to grow or something, I don't know. And I added a lamp, and if you look inside the lamp, it's a glowing mushroom, because I thought that'd be really cute. Obviously, since she can't hold it, I thought it made sense to hang it on her hat so she can actually see. But anyways, I hope you guys like this one. If you guys want to give her a name, feel free to do so. And for the next mood board, I found this. It is so serene. It's so calming. I could see wisterias and cherry blossoms there with the moon. There's some ocean action going on. And immediately I thought, hounds. I don't remember now, but I'm pretty sure hounds are in the HAZBIN Hotel / Helluva Boss universe. I don't remember seeing them in HAZBIN Hotel, but they're definitely a thing in Helluva Boss. And since it's been confirmed that both of them run in the same universe, perhaps in a different timeline, I thought, it'd be good to have a crack at drawing furries. I don't really draw them too often, so I really struggle with the proportions, so excuse it please for a little bit, just because I rarely draw them. Anyways, for my first design, I thought, in the middle you could see two wolves, one white, one black. I thought that would be really good as a conjoined twin kind of situation. Kind of inspired by Cerebus, but I don't know about the design too much. I'm a bit unsure of it. The second design, I thought it's because the cherry blossoms and wisteria reminded me of Japan, so maybe a sort of Yakuza boss of some sort, but it didn't click with me either. And halfway through I was going to give up just because I didn't know how to draw wolves that well, but that third design I was thinking, oh, the hair as a wisteria kind of give me rock and roll vibes, kind of band boy type vibes. And as you can see on the last design, you would see a little bit later on, but he's holding a microphone. So that struck up an idea in my head. So perhaps this individual used to be a living person, a pop star, rock star perhaps. And maybe their favorite plant is a wisteria or a cherry blossom, or they passed away nearby a cherry blossom or wisteria, which is why it's incorporated in their afterlife or hell design, I guess. I wanted to refine that idea a bit more, so I wanted to play around with the hair as well. On this design you would see that I put it up in a sort of ponytail as well, but it was really difficult to manipulate the wisteria hair, just because if I move it around too much, it doesn't look like wisteria, it just kind of looks like purple curly hair. So I need to keep that drip action that you would see in his hair right now. And of course, in a typical 2000s band boy type style, I need to give him extra skin tight skinny jeans with big buckled belts. Crop tops were a thing for men back then as well, so I thought I'd kind of put that into his design as well. I thought it looked really nice. And for his lore, I'm gonna go a bit deeper into it from what I made up. So he's a rock star or a pop star in his previous life, but he's done something really bad. I have no idea what he's done. Maybe he's killed someone for fame. And so he was often targeted. Perhaps, I don't know, there's this crazy thing I read a lot in manhwas, where fans are so crazy that they go off and kind of, I guess, unalive the star, because if they can't have him, then no one can. So perhaps that's how he passed away and got to hell. After a while of sketching him in those 2 previous pages, I made up my mind. He's definitely gonna have that bad boy style. I'm gonna keep him as a wolf-like character just because of the moon vibe going on in the mood board. I guess it's also to represent the fact that when he was alive, he was a sort of predator. So this guy was a bad guy, and that's the reason why he's in hell. And in hell, in both Helluva Boss and HAZBIN Hotel, we see that songs and music is quite a big thing down there. So perhaps he's a big thing in hell as well. I also wanted to keep him quite edgy. I was almost tempted to hide his hair just because I thought that would be like a really cool thing going on. But the thing is, I really like drawing eyes, so I thought maybe just covering one of his eye with his hair would have a very edgy look onto him, making him more of a bad boy trope. I also bushed his tail up a bit more, so you could see it's kind of giving wisteria structure on his tail as well as sort of his hair. I'm gonna be completely honest, the hair and tail part of him was a struggle for me. And if you saw earlier, I did keep changing the way I outline it just because no matter how I did it, it just kind of looked like curly hair to me. Also, I've realized, I'm not sure if this is true just yet, but I swear wisteria is quite poisonous. I remembered seeing people in TikTok kind of warning others not to have their cats or dogs consume any of the flower or any parts of wisteria just because they're poisonous to them. Not sure if that's the case for humans as well, but I find it quite ironic that a dog-like character has wisteria for hair and tail. Perhaps this is his punishment for being such a bad individual in his previous human life. But as you could see, I kept the skinny jeans, I kept the crop top, I added 2 buckled belts, and of course lots of piercings on the ear. You can also see me printing some flower petals all across his hair just to give more of the wisteria vibes that I was going for. And I did that all across his hair and across his tail. If you guys can remember his initial designs, I never really intended on giving him red scleras, because I didn't want him to be associated with a hell-born hound, because he was a human that then got to hell and got turned into a hound-like looking creature. I was still unsure, and even now I still am unsure, but I wanted to keep the consistency anyways, so that's why I gave him eyes that resembles ones from hell-born hounds. And these are my 2 characters side by side. I wanted to show you kind of how, I guess, tall they are compared to each other. I wanted to keep Snake Lady, I have no name for her at the moment, but I wanted to keep Snake Lady fairly short and him fairly tall. But perhaps I didn't proportion them quite well enough. But anyways, I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please do subscribe and like for more videos like these in the future. And for those who've watched this far, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. And do stay tuned for next Monday for another Mango Monday video. Again, I hope you all like this, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!